Greetings to the masses, welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host Connor Monroe, and I keep getting videos where I get to hate on and later in the comments be hated on. It's fine, however, I can take it. I'm a big kid now. Today we're talking useless, and if I get to talk like the people from high school, this should be fun. Heroes always have their niche uses, but what if they didn't have their costume? Well, today that's what we're exploring. Be sure you like, comment what your favorite superhero costume is, and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd because we're almost at 80,000 subscribers. I know we can do it. While you do that, I'll get started with today's list of the top 10 superheroes useless out of costume. Roll the intro. Number 10, Daredevil. While Daredevil is an incredible fighter and ass kicker, his alter ego Matt Murdock is a lawyer. If Matt were to do anything other than sit on the sidelines, people would seriously take note of a blind man kicking ass in the streets of New York. Everyone knows Matt Murdock is blind, but people don't know that Daredevil is. However, if someone were to make the connection, if Matt were to bust out some moves against a gang in Hell's Kitchen, then the Scarlet Swashbuckler's day might be ruined. Matt Murdock, for both his own sake and his superhero identity's sake, must just get beaten down if anyone wants a piece. So he's useless. Just like a vegan in a gelatin factory? I don't know what I'm saying, honestly. Number 9, Shazam. Shazam was incredibly popular back in the 1940s, with issues even outselling Superman. And while the Shazam movie was one of the better DCEU movies, the only one, Billy Batson is Shazam's alter ego. And he's literally a 14-year-old kid who, unless he says that magic word, is literally just that, a 14-year-old kid. And unless he says Shazam, he's not in costume. Therefore, he is very much allowed to be on this list. What can a kid do in a fight? It's like that saying, would you rather fight 100 kid-sized Shazams or one Shazam-sized kid? Honestly, even if he is Shazam-sized, the teen is still going to be easier to fight than Shazam, especially for me, where my only superpower is being able to clear out a room with one single cut of cheese. Number 8, Green Lantern. While in costume, Hal Jordan is the protector of Earth, a man with the superpower of not eating that last donut even though he really wants it. While yes, Green Lantern has gotten some hate and at points definitely deserved it, his alter ego is nothing more than a test pilot. Without the ring, what could Hal Jordan do realistically? Fly the superheroes who can't already fly into battle, unless someone who can fly is bringing them. Green Lantern has done some pretty incredible things so far, even at one point trying to arrest God. No matter how ridiculous that sounds, it happened. If you're not Green Lantern, it's a red light for helping Hal. Sorry, not sorry. Man, these jokes are terrible. Number 7, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. These teens from Angel Grove High School are literally always wearing the color of their ranger. Like, what the hell? Can we not identify you based on your personality or voice, since for the parts of the show people care about you're wearing helmets? Sure, these teens may know martial arts, but going up against the baddies they typically end up needing to suit up and have some hilariously oversized weapon, or a Megazord. It's like they're trying to reveal their identities, and honestly, if any teen was trying to get with someone and they said, hey, I'm a superhero, they wouldn't believe it, but if they figured it out themselves, they would. Just like MJ in Far From Home. Spoilers, by the way, but it's been out for a while. When Peter tells MJ he's Spider-Man, she just laughs and says, you're screwing with me. But she believed it when she was trying to figure it out herself. Power Rangers want to be revealed for some reason, but out of costume, they're also just teens. Number 6, Iron Man. Time to get triggered beyond belief. Yes, Tony Stark is a super genius, but what about the fact that all of his super abilities, aside from intelligence, come from his suit? When not in it, sure, he may be able to call it, but if it doesn't show up in time, he's just stuck being an ordinary Joe with an arc reactor for a heart. Tony, while amazing, is just an ordinary guy who needs to see a doctor. Sorry, Tony, I love you and you may be a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, but you have no regenerative abilities as far as I know, and you can be killed with a bullet. Your costume is your power. Don't think too highly of yourself.
You to make me? Yeah. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Number 5, Arm Fall Off Boy. Hold on, what? This is an actual thing? Arm Fall Off Boy is able to take off his arm and beat criminals with it? Okay. Well, if you see this and he's not in costume, what do you think you're gonna do? I think run like the kid does in It, because Jesus Christ, this thing would be terrifying. This guy looks like he has a frozen ham leg for an arm like any cartoon killer ever. This honestly should not require that much explaining. This guy is literally a walking corpse in my opinion. Like, oh, you need a hand, man? Let me give you an arm. What? What? I can't. Honestly, I can't. Just go to the next number. Jesus Christ. Number 4, Mr. Immortal. Mr. Immortal is the leader and founder of the Great Lakes Avengers, for honestly no reason. His power is in his name. Mr. Immortal can't die. He discovers this after multiple suicide attempts. His real name is Craig Hollis, whose only ability is not being able to die. He has no other skills. He can't fight and is just a glorified human punching bag. He sometimes wakes up in a fit of rage after being revived, and there was only one person who could calm him down. Dinosaur, who has been described as a pterodactyl-esque hero. What the hell is going on at the Great Lakes? Jesus, pterodactyls and immortal punching bags? I mean, it would be good to train with him since he can't die, but he doesn't have any skills. They should be training him with deadly force to get this man at least basic knowledge of combat. Number 3, Doorman. This character is honestly pretty useless in costume and out. Doorman is DeMar Davis, and his power is to create a doorway using his body. Using powers from the Dark Force dimension to do so, he can stand in front of any wall with a room on the other side, and boom, there's a one-way door. This can be useful for surprise attacks, yes, but when does that really happen? Stories typically involve heroes losing the element of surprise. But either way, all he can do in costume is create doors. Sure, he can do it out of costume, but when will that be useful? His other aliases include DM, honestly, which makes me think of Dungeon Master, Man of Doors, which makes me think of Men of Letters, and the Living Portal. Living Portal? He can only create a doorway to one room, and it has to be next door. And calling him Doorman just sounds like he's Esteban Julio Ricardo de la Rosa Ramirez. I wonder if there's any relation to Rene Ramirez. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody actually takes place in the DC universe? I gotta get working on that theory. Number 2, Cyborg. Can I count cyborgic? Is that a word? If Cyborg were to have the metal and cyborgic, it's a word now, parts removed from his body, he would be dead. And is there anything more useless than being dead? We can even see what he's like without his armor in Forever Evil number 3, where Batman and Catwoman need to bring Victor to Star Labs to have his father save his life again, because without his costume, he's literally dead weight. He just causes an inconvenience to those around him trying to save his life. This is the only character on the list who would die out of costume. I know you may not consider his cybernetic implants to be a costume, but I do, since that's what makes him a superhero rather than him just being Victor Stone. Number 1, Hindsight Lad. Carlton Lafroig is a great guy to have around if you want to spend your days filled with regret, sadness, and not feeling like all around crap. First introduced in Marvel's New Warriors Annual number 3, Carlton would not become Hindsight Lad until New Warriors 37, where he caught a classmate transforming into his alter ego Speedball. Carlton blackmailed Speedball into letting him join the New Warriors. His issue is that he has no powers whatsoever, so while being useless and just kind of a dick out of costume, he's even worse in costume. His power is to point out tactical issues the heroes made in battle after the battle has ended, which means he is useless on the field, so he mostly works a desk job doing administrative tasks and using his computer skills. But can we talk about his costume? I would want to be out of that thing. He has car mirrors on his helmet, for fuck's sakes. This kid is the most sorry excuse for a hero I've ever seen. This kid is the epitome of uselessness. And look at me, I sound like everyone from high school. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified about our future nerdy content. Comment down below who you think the most useless superhero is, and if it's not Hindsight Lad, so help me. And while you do that, I'll read out some comments from the top 10 scary facts about Ironheart video. 209 Callie says, he reminds me of the boy from We're the Millers. Actually, in grade 9, my nickname was Kenny, because when people looked at me, that's all they could think of. Turnjet Prime said, I like how he said mini at 4 minutes 13 seconds, and Sky Jackson was just in the Panini video. That's the joke. Drew G said, oh, I kept wondering where you were. Glad to see you back for a new vid. Well, thank you. I've actually been over on Top 10 Gaming, but I'm glad to be back. Grubkin Tittlefits, love the name, says, let's go Tyler, that haircut is clean AF. Thank you, and my name is Terry. And that's all for this video. If you made it to the end, ask me an odd question in the comments. Just don't be weird about it, okay? Don't be weird. I'll respond to as many questions as I can, but don't ask me where Roya is. I don't know. I haven't met her. I started working here once a week in March as an intern because of school, so I didn't really get the chance to. So don't ask. I don't know, okay? Okay, thank you so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and no, I'm not 13. I'll see you in another video. Okay, I'm done.